Hey guys, in this video I'm going to share 10 significant tips and tricks for IELTS listening to score incredible band 8 in this particular module. I'm going to share my experience of IELTS listening, how I was able to score band 8 and that too without enrolling in any kind of paid course. Now without any further ado, let's get started with tips and tricks. Tip number 1 is sit upright, take deep breaths and self-motivation. Since listening is the first part of the IELTS exam, therefore it's obvious to feel anxious. I also got nervous in my first attempt of this exam, and those jitters overwhelmed me, and because of that I could not get a good score in listening. However, eventually I figured out some strategies to control my jitters, which actually worked for me. Those included sitting upright in the exam, taking deep breaths before the test starts, and motivating yourself to stay calm. Because if you are able to control that anxiety, half of the battle is done. Tip number 2 is practice. It's very well said, the more you sweat in practice, the less you bleed in the battle. There is no other alternative for practice, so doing it with persistence undoubtedly results in significant improvement in your score. You can do it from most of the free resources like YouTube itself. However, I recommend you to practice only Cambridge IELTS listening tests as they are according to the actual standard. Tip number 3 is pay close attention to instructions. For example, if you look at the instructions on the top, which clearly says to write no more than 2 words and / or a number for each answer, which means it could be no more than 2 words and a number, or it could be no more than 2 words or a number. Pay close attention to these instructions, as you could lose marks just because of misunderstanding the question. Tip number 4 is paraphrased answer. Quite a few times, answers are not narrated directly. They are paraphrased, which means they are expressed by using different words. Tip number 5 is be proactive. Sometimes answers come quickly or maybe too late. In addition, answers are changed sometimes. For example, while narrating an address, a person could say NH91 Scotland, and then he will say sorry, it was MH91, not NH91. We need to be vigilant about these changes. Tip number 6 is spellings. Spellings are really important. If you spell wrong, you will lose the marks. The best way to memorize the spelling is to write down the word multiple times. This way, you are able to memorize the spellings effectively. Tip number 7 is listen carefully for plurals and articles. You have to be familiar with the plural sounds in British accent. In addition, listen carefully for the articles a and the. Best way to be familiar with the British accent is to listen to the podcast of your own choice. Tip number 8 is guess the answer. If you are confused or missed the answer, it's better to guess it rather than just leaving it blank. Many times your guessed answer makes a lot of difference if it were right. Tip number 9 is concentration and presence of mind. Being focused in the test is imperative to score better in listening. In order to improve concentration, you have to practice with persistence until you are able to score good in your mock tests. Tip number 10 is sneaking time for challenging questions. You can sneak time for difficult questions. For example, in my case, multiple choice questions were my weakness. You guys must be aware that you are provided with some time. Firstly, when they will run instruction audio in the headphones at the beginning of each section, and secondly, at the end of each section, you are provided with 30 seconds to check your answers. Therefore, we can utilize this time to look at the questions which seem tougher to us, in order to score better in the test. So guys, these were 10 crucial tips and tricks for IELTS listening to take your score to the next level. I'm pretty sure if you're going to incorporate them in your IELTS preparation, you're certainly going to pass your test with flying colors. Now, if you like this video, do hit that like button and also subscribe my channel, because in this way I get motivated to make more and better content for you. I also recommend you to watch my IELTS speaking series to improve your score in that module. This is the end for this video. I will see you in the next video. Till then, keep smiling and keep practicing.